I'm told under no uncertain circumstances that there's a chance Brogdon will get moved.
And we looked at a lot of different options. At the end of the day, we're very happy with the two selections we made.
We have breaking news on yet another trade, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, it's been absolutely crazy today, and no, Kyrie Irving, at least at the time that I'm recording this video, or Kevin Durant have not been traded yet. Before we get to the content, I wanted to let you guys know that we upload shorter versions of this content on my Instagram page and of course on my brand new TikTok page at TheFlightMike for both. In addition to that, man, if you want the latest NBA news, you might not be getting my videos to your sub boxes because we're uploading so freaking much. Make sure you subscribe and turn on our notifications on this channel so I don't get punished for over uploading to you guys. Now that we get all that out of the way, cue the intro. Mic check 1 2 1 2. What's going on, everybody? I wanted to open up this video by giving a huge shout out to every single one of you that showed up to the live stream last night. We had 5,000 people up in there just talking basketball and analyzing free agency, and it was so much freaking fun. I definitely want to do it more often. Thanks to everyone that showed up. I also need to preface this by letting you guys know I'm a Los Angeles Laker fan, and I just hope my lack of bias shows in this analysis because I am hopelessly jealous of the Boston Celtics. I've never been a fan of those teams that just completely gut out their rosters for really good players, go all in on those players, and if it doesn't end up working out, then, well, you're screwed. Look no further than the Brooklyn Nets. Do you know who the biggest winner of the Kevin Durant saga is? It's not the Brooklyn Nets, it's not the Los Angeles Lakers, it's not whoever acquires Kevin Durant, it's the freaking Houston Rockets, dude. The Houston Rockets have a 2023 Nets first round swap that's unprotected, a 2024 Nets first round pick that's unprotected, a 2025 Nets first round swap that's unprotected, a 2026 Nets first round pick that's unprotected, and a 2027 Nets first round swap that's unprotected. It's hysterical. The Nets pretty much find themselves in the same exact situation that they were in the mid 2010s after the Kevin Garnett trade, although it kind of made more sense to go all in on Kyrie and KD and James Harden at this point. But the reason I'm bringing this up is the Boston Celtics are one of the few teams that have been able to rebuild while they're competing, and it was very impressive. I mean, it's something that I always applauded them for, and ironically, it was as a result of the Brooklyn Nets trade in 2014 where they sent Kevin Garnett and Jason Terry and Paul Pierce to the Nets for that crazy haul in return, but that's a different conversation. The Boston Celtics rebuild or retool or whatever you want to call it resulted in the ultimate prize this past year, and it's very impressive considering the fact that this was a team that went into the season with rumors of potentially breaking up Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. Who would have thought that by elevating Brad Stevens to the front office, saying goodbye to Danny Ainge, because with all due respect, Danny Ainge was getting that reputation that he will screw players over if it's for his team's benefit. He was a little bit too cutthroat for the modern NBA. So as a result, he was kind of alienating free agents. And hiring Ime Udoka would result in this team becoming the best defensive team in the NBA and representing the Eastern Conference in the NBA Finals this year. Yes, they lost to the Golden State Warriors, and I kind of thought they were going to lose to the Golden State Warriors. Although on paper, most people predicted the Boston Celtics winning, the Warriors had more experience than the Celtics. And I said this when Jason Tatum lost to the Cleveland Cavaliers in his rookie season, this experience is going to pay off. And ultimately, he's in a situation where his team is making competent, not even competent, but brilliant roster transactions around him. And it's a credit to the genius of Brad Stevens. Because take a look at the Boston Celtics roster so far. Derek White, Grant Williams, Robert Williams, bringing back Al Horford. Obviously, you have Jason and Jalen and Marcus Smart from before, which was their core. And now they have a brand new two-way player who is probably going to be their brand new starting point guard. And they didn't need to give up much in order to get him. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, because according to Adrian Wojnarowski, the Boston Celtics have made a trade. So the first report we got was the Indiana Pacers are trading guard Malcolm Brogdon to the Boston Celtics. Sources tell ESPN. So obviously when I first saw this, I was like, oh my God, what did they give up? Did they give up Marcus Smart? Did they give up one of their core pieces? Obviously they're not going to give up Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. What did they give up? Well, the package to get Malcolm Brogdon wasn't really much in my opinion. All the Celtics had to do was send Daniel Tice, Aaron Nesmith, and a 2023 first round pick to the Indiana Pacers, in addition to Nick Stauskas, Malik Fitz, and Juwan Morgan in the trade, in order to get back Malcolm Brogdon. This is freaking robbery. Now, if you're an Indiana Pacers fan, you're probably thinking, why on earth are we doing this? Well, we said this in the very beginning, man. It's not hard to get yourself one of the Pacers' core players. Maybe it was to get Domantas Sabonis, but in the case of Malcolm Brogdon, it doesn't seem like that was the case. The Indiana Pacers just wanted young players and future picks. That's it. So take notes. If you want Miles Turner, you need to offer a package like that if you want to get yourself Miles Turner. Now, for the Indiana Pacers, I can't give them a grade. It's really hard to give a rebuilding team a grade. I mean, in this instance, anytime you get a first round pick and you're heading for a rebuild and you're trying to rebuild during a time that makes sense to rebuild, not like the Brooklyn Nets who don't have a first round pick until 2028. Well, they do, but they don't have their own first round pick until 2028. I automatically think it's a win. Yeah, I don't think Aaron Nesmith is the player that Malcolm Brogdon is, but it is a situation where you could get Aaron Nesmith, see what you have in him. It's really hard to grade the player because he's been playing like 13 minutes per game throughout his career. He barely played anything at all. See what you have in him. He probably is going to be relegated to the end of your bench. This is more about getting, at the very minimum, a first round pick so you could continue your rebuild moving forward. Props to the Indiana Pacers, man. I think so far they've been doing this rebuild masterfully. I mean, trading Domantas Sabonis and getting Buddy Hield in return, in addition to Tyrese Halliburton, in my opinion, was highway freaking robbery. And I wouldn't necessarily say this is robbery for the Pacers because obviously I think the Celtics are getting the better end of the stick here, but I understand the logic to this. I applaud the Pacers for committing to their rebuild, and we'll see how it ends up for them. For the Boston Celtics, they went into this offseason and they were in a situation where you just looked at the team and you're like, okay, you have your core pieces. You have a leader in Al Horford that really just brings the team together. He's not Draymond Green, but he essentially plays the Draymond Green role when it comes to just being the glue for the team. They don't have similar games, but they probably mean a similar amount to their teams. Then you have Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. You have Marcus Smart. All those players are a part of a fantastic core. The culture in Boston is rock solid. The fan base in Boston is rock solid. What else do you do to improve this team? Well, this is probably the best way you could have improved your team. Malcolm Brogdon fits with the Boston Celtics like seamlessly, and I think a lot of people are sleeping on how incredible of a player Malcolm Brogdon is. I mean, just looking at his basic statistics, that's how I like to start out these videos. The man averaged 21.2 points per game in his age 28 season with the Indiana Pacers, and then 19.1 points per game over this past season. Of course, he didn't play a full slate of games, but obviously the talent was still there. It's really hard to grade him defensively because if you're on a rebuilding team, your DBPM may take a hit, but Malcolm Brogdon has tremendous two-way point guard potential, is incredibly efficient, is an above average playmaker. I mean, this is probably my favorite move of the offseason so far. I mean, it's just so freaking smart by Brad Stevens. And this team, the Boston Celtics, are so freaking deep moving forward that I'm going to admit, as a Laker fan, I'm just jealous of you guys. You guys have a young talent. You have a great core. You have a brilliant general manager that's just making the right moves. Props to you guys, man. I'm really happy for you guys. Let me know in the comment section down below what you guys think about this trade. This, without a doubt, makes the Boston Celtics way, way better than they were. Aside from that, I'm your boy Mike, and I'm dropping our mic until our next upload.